Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Green Room. My name is Justin Barron. I am your host. And with me today, I have many guests, all faces that I hope you recognize from Zoa Stardust. Tonight, we're doing a rap session. A wrap-up session, I should say, really. We could do a rap session, too.
Can you imagine?
Oh, my God.
Everyone gets 16 bars about their character.
This is going to be awful.
This has been a missed opportunity this whole time.
Wow.
We could have been doing this the whole time. Why don't we have everybody go around and introduce yourself, say what character you played in Zoa, and maybe what's a fun fact everybody should say? Your favorite band when you were in middle school.
Oh my god.
I don't know. I'll start just to give you guys time. When I was in middle school, I was really into Bare Naked Ladies. And I still am, honestly. They're just a really good band. But and also like Hootie and the Blowfish. Like those two were my jam when in like middle school, high school. Yeah. I'm gonna pass it to Brad.
Of course you are. I'm Bradley J. Thomas, he, him. I played Chomper, the hippo, also he, him, or Chadwick Murray Niles, there we go, full name, and Flippery, the oxpecker, also he, him. Yeah, I never said his last name.
No.
So,
Oh my god.
Yeah, what is? I'm sorry. Flip what?
Flippery.
Flippery. I didn't even know that. It's all coming out tonight, people.
Exactly. Flip the bird. Thank you. Somebody finally got it. Yay.
I'm really mad I never got that.
Me too.
I'm so disappointed in myself.
Guys, we're like 2 minutes into this, and so far we have so many missed
Secret.
opportunities. Rap sessions, flipping the birds. Brad.
My favorites. I'm so old. So my favorites bands when I was in middle school were like Bobby Brown, and
Amazing.
and also oh goodness, Cherry Poppin' Daddies.
Amazing.
They started, them and Squirrel Nut Zipper started to get really big and swing when I was that age, and yeah, listen to a lot of
Those
swing music.
guys.
You're the coolest person
Nice.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
That is
You
Sure.
are.
Sure.
I'm not joking.
I will pass to Rebecca.
Hi. I am Rebecca Muñoz, she, her, and I played Milo Reynard, who is he, him. And when I was in middle school, I listened to like a lot of like K-pop and Asian stuff, and so I blame my big sister for it, but I listened to like before BTS there was DBSK and Malice Miser, and so
Rebecca, you took mine.
Wow.
we would have been such good friends in middle school.
We would have.
Why did we live in different states? But yeah, I listened to a lot of Asian music and just listened to like anime intros over and over again that I illegally burned onto CDs.
Oh, wow.
So
Great me.
yeah, that was pretty much my vibe in middle school.
So good.
Thank you for bringing up that cringe, Justin. I'm
Look,
gonna
I
pass
hated
it
middle
now.
school, okay? So if I can bring it up, all of you can do it too.
I had like the printed out pictures of like anime characters slid into the front of my binder that I printed off at the public library.
Fantastic.
It was back in those days, y'all.
Fantastic.
We weren't gifted with all this merch that you guys can just buy at Walmart now.
No.
I'm gonna pass it off to Annie.
Oh no! Hello, I'm Annie Schwaner, she, her, and I played Kira Swiftfoot, and I'm going down even further. I was not cool and did not listen to cool music, so I listened to all the musicals that no one knew at the time, and because they hadn't become movies yet. So I listened to all the musicals and then loved the Jonas Brothers, so real bad, but I still love the Jonas Brothers, so let's be honest. I'm gonna pass it on over to Emma.
Thank you, Annie.
Yeah.
I am Emma, she, her, and I played Skipper Ottington, she, they. I was going to say that I listened to DBSK, the K-pop boy band, in middle school, but Rebecca took mine. So what you guys don't know about me is that I was pretty like emo in middle school, or not like intentionally. And so I listened to a lot of Evanescence.
Yes!
It was like Evanescence, Lizzie McGuire, not Lizzie McGuire, yeah, Hillary Duff, and DBSK. But I'll go ahead and out myself as I listened to a lot of Evanescence while I played solitaire on my computer.
Hell yeah, man.
Solitaire, I love it.
Mhm.
That's so
cool.
good.
That was
Remember
the
those
middle school
days.
vibe.
And Darrington, have you gone yet?
Yes, no, it's just me.
Hey, I pass it to Darrington.
I'm Darrington, he, him pronouns, and I played Tennyson Vittel, the toucan, also he, him. And I feel very seen in this group. Anime intros were 100% playing on my MP4 that I think I won as a fundraising competition prize. The Inuyasha intro was on there.
Yes!
The first Naruto intro was on there. The Oran High School Host Club intro was on there. 100% nerd. But the band that I listened to the most middle school, Paramore, you could not tell me anything about that Riot album. I knew every word. And I still do like them. I still do like some of the things that are coming out.
Nice.
All right, back to you, boss.
Amazing.
What was yours?
Amazing. Sorry?
What was yours? Your band?
Me?
Did you say?
I said Bare Naked Ladies, Hootie and the
Oh
Blowfish.
yeah, that's right.
How soon we
Oh,
forget,
Ladies
yeah.
and the Blowfish.
Yeah, I was, I was just like a typical kid. Nothing really cool. I didn't like watch a lot of cool anime, and I was.
He thinks we're cool.
Right, yeah. The typical kid is the kid who made fun of us for listening to this.
You guys are almost as cool as Bradley.
That's fair. Yeah,
Almost.
that's a high bar.
Yeah.
I'm just old. That's my problem.
So the reason that we're all here tonight, as I said before,
Vintage.
we're having a Zoa Stardust wrap up session. We thought we'd include you, the audience, in this. You know, we've gone through 16 sessions together, and I mean, these characters have seen a lot, and the story we told was pretty there was a lot to it, and I always feel like at the end of a campaign, kind of debriefing or venting or however you want to kind of call it, getting out those other thoughts like, what if this would have happened, or hey, we never wrapped up this loose end, and so yeah, just there's really no structure to this. I figured we could just kind of ask each other questions. If you're watching in the chat, we'd love to hear questions from you as well. It can be about Zoa, it can be about role-playing or D&D or, whatever, or just somebody, we could talk about anime, or squirrel cherry nuts or whatever Bradley said earlier.
Close enough.
And let's just we'll just kind of chill and kind of take that big sigh of we did it, we made it through together, all as one tonight, and put this thing to bed. So I'll start. Why don't I have a question for each of you. Anybody who wants to answer it, please do. This is kind of a weird one. A what if. I've been watching a lot of Marvel's What If, on Disney Plus.
Yes,
Fantastic
so
show. And it kind of channeled this question. What if you could go back to the beginning of Zoa Stardust, back when we were creating our characters? If you had to choose a different animal to base your character off of, what would you have chosen, and why? And I'll full disclosure, most of you had second options, third options, just in case. Maybe talk about those a little bit. Like what could we have seen? What almost was. Anybody want to start? Nobody wants to start?
Heck, I'll go. All right.
Go, Becca, go.
Okay. Oh, golly. I had a lot of options, but one of them ended up being in the game, and so
yeah, talk about that. That's great.
Okay, so I had come up with what was her name still?
It was Cassandra Silverback.
Yeah, Cassandra Silverback. That was a character that was one of my options that I submitted. And I'm really excited. Like, I love where Justin took the character, though. Like, I was just like, oh, she's perfect. I love her. Like,
well, I remember when you created
I hated her so much.
I know you
I hated her
did.
so much.
I know.
You probably would have
I just
loved
had like
her.
a visceral reaction when you said her name. I was like, oh no.
You would have loved her if Becca had played her.
Yeah.
No, but when Becca created that character, I was like, God, this is so good. And ultimately we just, you decided Milo was the better fit for the team, but I was like, I have to include Cassandra somehow. This is too
I was
good.
so excited when you said it. I was like, oh. But yeah, the way I had like imagined her, she was like very very much cigar in her mouth, very aggressive, tough girl kind of thing, with like a British accent. Like she was gonna be real fun.
British
but
accent.
yeah, and she kind of had a bit of Skipper's energy, where it was she's going to do what she thinks is right, not necessarily fits the rules. She's just going to do it anyway, like, because who's going to stop her? But I think she was the one that I really, really, really wanted to play. And Emma, I also submitted an otter.
Oh.
And he was also the explorer.
Yeah, you two had very identical characters, so that was pretty
I think
fun.
we used to be twins in a previous life or something.
Oh. Becca, that would make me so happy.
But yeah, that was mine. And then also I submitted a Pomeranian, but I just made that his girlfriend instead. So
So in
I
a way,
still snuck
all
my
of your
characters
characters
in.
somehow got used.
Yes.
I just snuck them all in.
That's great.
That's
Anybody else have
hilarious.
any they want to share?
I don't think I told you, Justin, but I also was thinking about an otter for a minute there
Yeah.
for a second too. Like I really was.
Of course.
Because I love otters. They're
Otters
so
are the
good.
best.
They
They
are.
They are.
Yeah.
Really, they are.
Really are.
I think I kind of just sent you mine though. I didn't really tell you what I was thinking. I was just like, oh, that's the one. Like I was going through them in my own head because I think I thought of like an otter. I think I'm not gonna lie. I think I thought of a hippo, but the hippo would have been more like an older woman because I was kind of taking like tips from one of my friends who kind of plays an older woman in our D&D campaign, and her name's Betty. So I was like, that'd be kind of fun.
Oh no, you cut out.
Annie!
Annie, talk louder again. Oh no, you cut out.
Oh,
But
no.
I'll cut in real quick and just say, Annie, I remember that we discussed early on, before I like cemented in the fact that each of you were going to be younger, like going into like the through the academy. We had discussed. I don't know if we discussed it or not, but I definitely remember thinking like how maybe Annie's character could be one of the teachers, like one of the staff members at the academy. Because you told me that you were considering like an older character. So
Yeah. Can you hear me now? There we
yes,
go.
yes.
But yeah, that's what I was thinking. So that's yeah, which both
I
happened,
love
an
that.
otter and a hippo. But I like
It's so
proceeded with that one.
interesting.
This team was meant to be.
Annie, it's interesting that you had that experience of, oh, this is the character that I am eventually going to settle with and sent in. I had the opposite problem. The idea of a toucan first came into my head, and I was like, that's stupid. I don't want to be a toucan. I can think of something cooler than that.
Oh,
And I cycled through different animals and different personalities and things I could match. And ultimately, I was like, I can't get this toucan out of my head. Like, I don't want to do it, but I can't. Nothing else is quite exciting me. But my second choice, I was always going to be a bird. The other animal that I was thinking of was an owl.
Ooh.
Because that imagery I thought was really, really cool. And I think owls, especially in this sort of animated steampunk world, could have a really cool aesthetic. And then there are a couple different personality types that you could go with an owl, especially a younger one. Like, is he mischievous? Is he a know-it-all? Like, all of these different things. But I couldn't, as I was trying to write it, it just wasn't making sense. And then I came back to toucans and learned more about, how they interact in family settings and how all of that goes. And I was like, I see where I could go here. And I sort of gave up and decided to submit the toucan. And that's where I landed.
no.
I'm glad you did.
Too.
I'll just throw out there one of the other characters I thought about playing was a pangolin who was a peacekeeper. And then also I had an idea for a character who was like a bison, I think, and they were going to be from like the wintry area, and I was going to have them be like a really tough protector type, but like actually be really nice and sweet on the inside. Those are the two I was leaning towards.
That's
But
awesome.
I ended up with Skipper.
I'm glad you did.
I had a few. I had a rhino at one point called Hornsby, who was going to be an Arcana technician. And then I had a kangaroo also from the winter area, who kind of had Chomper's personality ish, but more of a loose cannon. But the one I was really before Chomper's like going with was a Komodo dragon, because claws and they have poison teeth and things like that. So I thought all of those things could be used in terms of like fighting and stuff like that. I feel like there was one more, but yeah, I just kind of vomited all of those to Justin. He was like, "Pick this one." I'm like, "Oh."
Yeah, because Darrington might have been the last one to.
I think so.
I think that we solidified. No, Bradley, you gave me your options, and then I went to Darrington. And I remember this specifically because it was Darrington's like, I mean, really, this was like your first adventure into a TTRPG, a titterpig, as we all collectively say
Bit of
love.
it.
And you, I was like, I don't want to make Darrington like, I don't want Darrington to get stuck with something he doesn't want to do. So I really wanted your input, and you came in and you were like, I want to be the Arcana technician, and I wanted this, and I have these thoughts, and I was like, okay, cool. Like I was I was prepared to be like, so this is maybe like something we could try, or if you wanted, and you just like, I was like, hell yeah, let's go. So then I went back to Brad, and I was like, okay, choose that one because he chose that one, and this will work better. Amazing. Anybody else have any questions that you want to bring up yet?
I have a question.
Emma.
What was one of your favorite interactions you witnessed between another player or like on maybe other two players? Like, what's a favorite interaction that you were not a part of, but that you got to enjoy during our campaign?
That's a great question.
All of the horror stuff, dream stuff that Skipper had to go through.
Oh my god.
Oh my
That
god, yeah.
That entire situation was just absolutely terrifying for me, for Skipper. And I was just like, no, come on. Get her out of there. Yeah.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved when Skipper and Tennyson were alone trying to like get through this like pirate infested building, and like you got the most impulsive person and the brainiest person, and like that's my favorite like duo in TV shows is when you put the brainy person and the rule breaker together, because it's just chef's kiss. It was so fun watching you two, and just that was definitely, I think, one of my favorite episodes.
That was so
good.
fun.
That was great.
I just loved
The rats.
every moment. The rats. I just loved every moment that I was able to. I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna go back and explain it, but showcase the music that we were able to secure from Ted Bushman. He is, I mean, he's a friend of the show, and he composed this beautiful music, and if you watch the show you know what I'm talking about. But there was some just like beautiful, like serene, really touching music that I would put on anytime two of you started talking. I would just like click, let's go, and then it would like, oh my god, I don't know if you guys have gone back and watched these episodes, because I know you didn't hear the music in the moment, but it worked out so just like chef's kiss at times. I mean, and the emotion that you brought to it mixed with the clear like emotion that the music was driving into it, I had to like keep from crying at times. No joke. It was very cathartic, and just thanks for really making yourselves vulnerable. Like there were some real vulnerable moments in this campaign, so kudos.
Nice.
I really loved when Kira, well, any time that Kira like had a moment with anyone alone was just always so like
Yeah.
touching.
Mhm.
But I also really loved when Kira got to go talk to the big bad guys with Milo.
Oh my god.
And she was like, she was
Oh.
being, what am I trying to say? Like, she was confident. She
Yeah.
was negotiating. She
Mhm.
was, like, she was totally flipped from what I had seen of Kira before. So it was so cool to see her, like, to show that side of herself or step into something a little different than what maybe what she would normally have done. I loved that whole
Mhm.
episode.
That was
Yeah.
a good moment for
That
Kira.
was so
I think
cool.
we were all like collectively as a group attracted to Kira at that moment. It was
Yeah,
like,
I was attracted
wow.
to Kira. I was like, I want to be this girl.
Wait a minute.
Oh my god.
Yes.
I think mine is when Chomper was about to go sacrifice himself.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
my interest.
Yeah.
A highlight.
Which just, I mean, that was one of many Chomper moments that I think I just really loved, though, too. Just like the
Mhm.
funny nicknames and the funny happenings. Loved.
So let's talk about that moment. If I can diverge, if anybody has any other moments they want to share. Okay, I want to talk about that moment, Brad, because like, what was going through your mind at the end of that session? Like, I basically told you it was a suicide mission. I mean, did you and like honestly, did you think I was going to like save you somehow, or did you really think like maybe I'll have to like roll a new character or something, or
I had a feeling that there was an ace up your sleeve in terms of like with the Phoenix portion of it, but I also thought that there was a possibility that Chomper was gone, and I would just be playing Flip for 3 more sessions.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna be honest,
just sitting there saying flip the entire time, and would have been awesome, but also,
well,
Yeah.
you know, way back when I was creating the Mystazoa, there was, I knew that I wanted to do something with Rebirth with Kalzanev, but I didn't know exactly how I wanted to do it until about maybe like 3 sessions prior, when we were getting into the meat of like the Baldrach and Yitlo battle, and I started like looking ahead, and I said no, I think like I'm legitimately like we'll see how it happens, because I wasn't sure if all of you were gonna try to go in or if it was just gonna be one of you, and so there was like a little bit of uncertainty there, but yeah, no, I ultimately, you know, obviously landed on allowing the Rebirth to happen and whatnot, but that was cool.
I mean, I will say I was also trying to distribute power to the others, and after the Jackalope appeared, I was like, okay, so it's all mystic beings. Everburning could be, you know, a fire troll, it could be a Balrog, but it could also be a phoenix.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love the idea of phoenixes, as in like the Rebirth and all of that kind of mythos. So I was like, I'll hold out till the end. And if Chomper dies, Chomper dies. If he doesn't have the power to save his friends, I think a noble sacrifice would have been a good end for someone who loved everyone on that ship in his own way.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in so, you know, if you ask like Emma or some of the people that have played with me a bunch, you know, they might tell you that I really never kill off characters, and that's true to an extent. I believe that like I'm all for killing you off, but it has to matter. That's all. So like if you guys are fighting some nameless pirates and one of you goes down, I'm probably going to try to find a way to maybe the pirates, you know, capture you, or, you know, that kind of thing. But if you're going up against a god and sacrificing yourself for, you know, your friends or whatnot, then that matters. That means something. And therefore, like, yeah, no, like I'm down to kill it. It just happened to be the Phoenix, and then you also happen to get Rebirth. But I mean, yeah, for the record, you guys, you know, I was not, you know, I was not playing with like the bumpers up, if you will. Like, I mean, you could have died a lot of times. And what's the other thing that's interesting is the I fully expected more of you to bond with the relics earlier on. I really did. You know, Milo did it, and then nobody did it until like until you were basically forced to. And what's interesting about that is because I didn't know. In my mind, I was like, whoever's left, whoever hasn't bonded with a relic, is gonna basically be the person who has to sacrifice themselves to go into Kalzanev. But it ended up that 4 of you could have done it. So that honestly made it even more interesting because Chomper just chose to do it.
See, after Milo bonded, I felt like this was, I don't know if anyone else would agree with this, but I felt like it was a more interesting choice to not immediately have one of us also bond, because that was something that made Milo special and different as our leader. And I thought it was more interesting to wait, especially since we'd been given the warning that like it could be really bad if we bonded with it. And so I was kind of glad that everyone else followed suit and we all didn't bond until we absolutely had to.
Okay, but I was like high-key panicking all the time because nobody else is bonding, and I was like, oh shit, am I gonna die? Nobody else wants to bond. I did the wrong thing. And I was like, everyone's just waiting for my character to explode. Like I was just
I was kind of nervous.
I was like, oh, like everybody was like, no, I don't want to bond, and I was like, cool.
Well, I mean, that makes me wonder, sort of, I mean, a question for Justin, going back to the creation of these Mystozoa and the relics. I don't know at what point in the creation of this story you had decided, if you had decided, that each team member bonding with a relic was going to be the way into, you know, this final chapter. But I wonder if you had any notions or any wishes as to which relic each one of us would bond with. Did you care, or was it something you had kind of hoped, oh, I hope this person gets this one, you know?
That's a great question. In my first draft of this, like, had, like, yeah, I think, like I kind of built them for individual characters. You know, I was like, okay, this person's gonna get these legs, and that's gonna help them, because, like, they're balanced in this way, and then I, like, looked at it for a while, and I was like, I'm not gonna force them to pick one. Like, what the hell? I was like, what am I thinking? So then I scrapped that, and I basically just I formed just more generic abilities that could apply to any of you. Like, sure, if Tennyson got the Phoenix wings, that would be interesting, but we would do something with it. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, so originally yes, and then immediately no. I had no intentions. Honestly, when Milo went to get the what I knew was going to be the boost of intelligence, I was like, oh hell yeah, this is already going off the rails. I had, like, that was like the one that I was like, I would never have seen this happening, but how are you to know, of course? So
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing, like, you know, 2020, you know, hindsight being 2020 or whatever you call it, whatever that phrase is. I don't know that I would have. I think I might have changed how the relics affect you, and kind of what their purpose was, seeing how it all went. But just to make it, I don't know, a little more intriguing or mysterious, maybe. I'm not sure, but.
I do like, though, that Annie pointed out, I think it was Annie, pointed out that we didn't get the relics that necessarily would have been the best for us, but they were the one that we actually needed in the end. Like, they all kind of still applied to us in our characters' journeys. And so you would think, yeah, like, wisdom, Tennyson would get the wisdom one, but he actually didn't need it. Milo was pretty fucking dumb. Like, that was my dumb stat.
Right.
And so honestly, it helped me.
It helped.
And so, but yeah, with everybody, like, we actually did get what we needed in the end with those relics.
Oh yeah.
That's cool. Any questions in the chat? Go ahead, Annie.
Oh, I have a question. Okay, I just came up with this. If you were to pick a different role for your character after the whole adventure's done, do you think they were placed correctly where we put them, or would you give them something else?
And just a reminder to the audience, roles are what we called like the position on the ship, basically. So Kira was a peacekeeper, Tennyson was the Arcana technician, Milo was the captain. It was called captain, right? Or
Leader.
Yeah. Sorry. Leader. Chomper was the protector, and then Skipper was the explorer. Anyway.
Andre.
I remember that Justin and I talked for a second about how Skipper might be a good leader, like before we even started playing, because I was like, oh, they'd be an explorer. And he was like, all right. That was when I think Rebecca hadn't yet told you that she wanted to be the leader or something like that.
Yeah.
Because you were like, I don't think anyone wants to be the leader yet. And I was like,
I didn't
I
want to
could
be
do
the
that.
leader.
Right.
But honestly, I think that Skipper is much more of an explorer than a leader, because they're so impulsive, like we were talking about, that they do what they want to do in the moment and not necessarily what is best for the whole team.
Mhm.
So I think that they were in the right position.
Well, and I think that like just natural instinct for you, Emma, gave a really cool kind of relationship to you between Skipper and Milo, with kind of this battle of leadership, whether Skipper knew it or not. Like, I don't know that, I mean, from my own perspective, I don't know that Skipper would have known what to do with leadership once they got it. I think they just wanted it because it was there. But that was such a cool dynamic between the two of you, best friends who are kind of like, struggling to take orders or give orders.
It's always weird when your friend is your manager at work.
Yeah.
Like, you're like,
Right.
do with this.
Yes.
Like, it's never easy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, I liked where Milo was. I was very happy with it. But there was a huge chunk in the game, especially at the beginning, where I was like, oh, Chomper should have been the leader. Like, I was like, and there was a couple of moments where I was like, I think I might step down. Like, I think I might ask him if he wants to lead instead. Because like, Chomper just had good ideas. He had good ideas. He was confident. He was decisive. And I was like, I'm not like that at all. Like, he's just panics. Like, I panic and Milo panics. And like, I was like, I'm not a good leader at all. And then I was like, okay, I need to be more decisive. And I let it, like, we both had that journey of how to be a good leader, because I did not want to be the leader at the beginning of this game. I was like, shit.
Well, I know that I started out kind of more challenging towards Milo, honestly, without meaning to.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, oh, this is a fun dynamic. And then I think around like episode 2, I was like, no, I'm gonna knock this off. This is Big Ears can handle it. He's more than capable of being a great leader, and I need to listen to my captain. And from then on, what you said went, and I followed your lead, except trying to talk to pirates.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good
it was
idea,
a good
and then it just went fucking awry.
It just went wrong. It went so wrong.
I want to echo what Sumkey just said in the chat too. He said, leader doesn't need to have a good idea, just the ability to recognize them. And I think that does encapsulate so much of what Milo represented. Was, I mean, pretty much at every turn it was like, what do you guys want to do, But the ability to step up and be the one to ask, the hard questions and and kind of ask of your crew the tricky things. And
but also, like, what an understandable arc for someone who just graduated how to be a leader and then is on the most important mission of the universe, who wouldn't doubt whether or not they were really supposed to be there. And when we got to see that in the story, I thought it was great to sort of capitalize and highlight, like, who wouldn't, it was relatable, I guess. It was, watching it back, it was like, who wouldn't feel this way, thrust into this position? The circumstances also of Milo going into this, having just come off a breakup because of being a leader. And then the entire weight of the universe is on you. Like, if Milo had never dipped in that confidence, I think it would have made less sense.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Definitely.
I'm cute. Oh, go ahead, Rebecca.
Oh, I was just gonna say, well, that kind of led into a question that I had written. But now I just lost it. I have like a whole bunch of questions here. Shoot, I just lost it. Oh, how do you think you grew into your character's role on the ship? So, and like, how did that affect your growth and change? So, like, for me, because I was terrified of being the leader, and Milo was also terrified, but it started kind of affecting my outside life, because I'm in a leadership position at work. And the main reason I didn't want to be leader in the game is I'm a very indecisive person. I let all of the what ifs distract me from actually coming up with a solution and being decisive. And so I actually used Zoa as practice for being decisive and making a choice.
Wow.
And it actually is shown at work, and it's really good. But have any of you, like, how have you grown into your character's role on the ship?
Ooh, such a good question. But I think I know. I sort of Tennyson was built with a lot of safeguards for me for several reasons. It being my first big role-playing sort of adventure and things of that nature. I, even if it was subconscious, built him as a little bit quiet, a little bit standoffish, and with not a lot of friends. So that if this ended up not working out, wouldn't reflect too poorly on me if Tennyson by the end of this was still shy, still standoffish, and still didn't have a lot of friends. You know? Just because I was so nervous. I was so new to Ghostlight, so new to this, especially performance play streaming sort of thing, that I didn't want to make a character who was charismatic or incredibly likable, in case that put me in a corner if I didn't get it, if I didn't understand how to do this. And so, to answer the question, Tennyson's change and becoming more comfortable with the people on the ship and what he was supposed to be doing there was incredibly reflective of how I felt becoming comfortable with you and understanding how to play a little bit better and knowing how. And Tennyson felt he had this crisis in the story too, where he was like, I don't know if I'm doing what I'm supposed to. And that came directly from me. It's like, what is your role in a performance stream like this? How do you know if you're pulling the proper amount of weight, if you're carrying the story in the right direction? And my doubts about that went into Tennyson, but so too did feeling more comfortable having the group support and knowing that I did have a role and there was something that I was good at. And we sort of watched Tennyson go through that same journey and feel comfortable doing what he was supposed to do.
Wow.
Oh.
I had no idea you guys
I didn't either.
felt these ways. That's that's great.
Yeah. I
The
think
magic
I love
of Titterpigs.
Yeah. I think I loved, kind of going off of my question and with yours, Rebecca, I kind of loved watching Kira be the peacekeeper and kind of take on that role, but then slowly fall under protector in places too, and just like see her confidence boost, because it's always been like things are out of her control. And her being able to take something in control and actually protect those around her and believe in herself that she could do that was a big deal for her. And I think also just with Peacekeeper taking her own advice as well. So, yeah, which Annie needs a lot as well.
I
think all my characters do that.
I don't want to cut anybody else off if anybody else wanted to share.
Just a small thing. I think I'm like Chomper in the fact that I do try to protect people, but in a weird way. And I also, having done a few Ghostlight things, I try to protect the energy of the piece or the scene that I'm in, and so yeah, I mean that's something that kind of bled into Chomper. And my camera. Sorry. I have my phone resting on my camera stand, and then it just tried to escape. You go, Justin.
No, I think but to follow that, Bradley, I think that you are. I don't know that you realize how good you are at like setting an energy, but then also like almost like undercutting the energy that you set to like raise it. it's insane. You have, and like there were multiple times where like, and this is me being like a little shit over here, but like there were multiple times where I was like, I'm gonna do this to them in a second, and then Bradley would be like, this happens to me, and I'm like, you mother, I was about to do that. It's your idea now, damn it.
How do you do that?
I'm sorry.
No, but
I'm in your head.
But that's exactly the thing, was like you were so like in there in the scene that you basically like were on the same wavelength with me, and like you would just kind of telegraph what was happening next. It was wild. So yeah, I mean, it makes it really fun. I mean, all of you are obviously, I mean, I'll play with you forever, but Bradley, your ability to kind of like throw those wrenches at me, throw those big ideas in there, I love it. I eat it up. All of you. I mean, the things you brought to the table were fantastic. I want to throw this question in real quick. Were there any like loose threads, any loose ends that you feel like did not get resolved? Anything that you were like, oh, that was weird, like we never went back and visited this person or whatever? Because I was doing my I was trying to close off certain lines while leaving others obviously open. But I'm always curious if there were things that you guys like noticed that I missed or something. That's always like one of my pet peeves.
Well, I mean, it wasn't missed because there was a definitive ending towards it. His head came off. But Greyback, I'm still dying to know. I'm like, what? Why did he leave? Like, what was the motivation? Yeah. Why did he suddenly go rogue? And like, he seemed like a character that had a really interesting backstory. And I was like, is there weird shit going on? And like, in Ursa that we don't know about or something? Like I had like all these questions and then I killed him and I was like, well, I guess I'm never gonna get those answers.
Absolutely. No, that's a really good one, Becca. And the truth is that so I had a list of, I believe, 10 different like encounters that you guys may come across in your space travels. That was one of those encounters. That was supposed to take about 2 hours. And it ended up taking like 5 or something, like maybe even 6. I can't keep. It was like two and a half episodes, and I was like, So that's why. So to be honest, that's why that was the only encounter that you guys did on that list of 10. You also did the solar flares. There's the solar flare storm that you did, but I realized very quickly that, and this isn't a bad thing by any means, but whatever I would throw at you guys, you would like soak it up in a way that it would, you wanted to know everything about it, and I think that was fantastic. I don't think I realized how much I don't know, and then I just kind of I think I was improvising a little bit of it in that the first time that we met them and whatnot. And then I was like, I made this a much bigger thing than it needed to be. But I'm like, how do Zoan pirates get into space? And I was like, we have to explain that. So, to be honest, I think it became something more than I meant for it to be. And I don't know that I have a good answer right now for his whole backstory. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean that there won't be one in the future. So, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Rest of his crew is still out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that just goes to show what good characters and storytelling you do. Because like you had a list of 10 and every time we encountered something, we're like, yo, let's get into this. Like, and like there were times where I was like, I feel like we're probably like digging way too deep into this. But like the world building, the characters, all of the encounters we had, they were so great that like it's hard not to want to just sit there and soak up and be in the moment of it. They were really great. It was a fantastic game.
Awesome. That's exactly what I was gonna say. It's the
awesome.
World. The world was so cool.
Oh my god. Yes.
For me, it wasn't. I didn't catch as many loose ends as an issue for me that I had were loose beginnings, and this is Tennyson specific. But the way that his story sort of ended as we saw it with this reconciliation with Gruss and this newfound partnership and friendship with Dresden, I was so satisfied with. But I wish that I was comfortable enough at the beginning of the story to roleplay the way I was by the time I'd gotten to the end. Because I think there were things I could have set up with Gruss, or maybe some other backstory characters, Tennyson's family, that there wasn't really a payoff for me to resolve in the end because we never really knew about it. But in that vein, if there was another incarnation of Zoa that involved these characters, I 100% want it to be like the Monsters University version, because some of my most fond memories still are the session 0 that we played, just getting to know each other, going through school. There is a whole 16 session story. Kyle. Like,
yes. I wish we could.
So cool.
That's what I was gonna say, is that the one thing I wish that we could have, and this isn't even like a loose thread, but like I really wanted to see like Kyle and the Panda Twins, like all these NPCs we met in university. I really wanted us to meet them in space somewhere, and we did by the end because we saved them. But I was kind of secretly hoping like maybe they got a ship and they escaped, and we're gonna meet them. And like, I just love those characters so much.
So many good NPCs.
Pudge. I was.
So I considered those things for sure as we neared the finale and whatnot, and I wasn't sure how we would be on time, and then I thought it would be easier, and more efficient if, you know, they were. I wanted to include some of those characters, but I also had to make sense. Like Pudge was on Zoa, so how does he get into space or whatnot? And then, so my solution to that was to have them fight you in the finale. But because, you know, I thought about having them like Videl and her ship like make it out and like meet you guys in space, but it just wouldn't. It didn't fit with what I was going for, simply because I had already written the Alpha Squad, like the what do you call it? The
Guardians Eclipse.
Guardians Eclipse. Thank you.
There we go.
I'd already written the Guardians Eclipse in there, and that was that was something that I honestly, I've never. That's not true, but this was one of those times that I had no idea how this was gonna end up. I didn't know if they were all gonna die. I didn't know if one of you was gonna die and then one of them would join your crew. I didn't know. I wasn't really sure, and I didn't know if your ship was gonna crash or their ship was gonna crash or neither ship would crash, or if you would all get stranded in space together. Like there was, so I had no idea where to go from there. And the fact that they all survived, I was like, well, shit, now, why wouldn't they just go with you on your mission?
Yeah.
And, I mean, that was a little forced, I will admit. They were just like, well,
Bye.
we're plan B now. So, I don't know. That was not my best moment, but it is the only thing that I could...
It worked.
I want to know... Oh. Go for it.
No, please, cut me off.
I can't wait.
No, I was just gonna say I wanted to know more about the big bad guy, just more of his past, because at first when you were explaining him, and since we had been going through all these things of evolution and the fish and stuff like that, I thought he was a fish or a lower evolutionary type of creature that was haha, now I'm going to grow and be better than you. And so I was like, wait, is he a fish? And then you're like, he's an alien. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, fantastic. I can confirm for you that he was definitely not Zoan, so he was not a fish, but so this was one of those things in that list of 10 encounters. There were a few more Menagerum encounters that would have hinted more towards his origin and why the Menagerum are what they are. I don't want to give too much away, but the Menagerum are, were very inspired by now I can't think of the name of their alien race, but they're called on Earth symbiotes in the Marvel universe. So Venom and that kind of thing. So that kind of liquid form that kind of shifts and whatnot, except it's metal. But if you know anything about Marvel Comics or anything, their race was kind of enslaved, if you will, by another being. And so that was really a big spark for me in creating them. And then I started to kind of think okay, who and why would do this? And I
loved how sus we all were of the Guardians Eclipse crew.
Yes.
Justin, I don't know if you ever saw in that chat bar, but we were all like, yo, these guys are super sus. They want our relics. And we're just keep an eye on them. I don't trust them. And we were just all super sus, and then they turned out to just be nice people, and we're like,
no, but
okay,
I mean,
jerks.
Obviously, you made it clear, and I sensed it by the end, which is why I was like, they cannot go with you to the finale.
We won't allow it.
I didn't want them
especially
to
Cassandra.
anyway.
Especially Cassandra.
Yeah, especially Cassandra.
You didn't like her at all?
I would have probably killed her. I would have probably killed her at some point. Yes. I would have pushed her off the ship, and she would have just fallen. It would have been fine.
Okay, my final question before I turn it over to you guys for the rest is, did you have... this is very selfish of me. I'm sorry. But did you have a favorite NPC? Did you have a specific one that you loved, I don't know, interacting with or anything? Besides Kyle. Because Kyle didn't even really. So this was the other reason I didn't really think to include them so much in the ending, is because they had like very small bits in for what the audience saw and what the stream was. They were much smaller characters, even though they were larger characters in the session 0. But
They're all so good.
They're also
I just
good.
love watching you jump from voice to voice. I thought Shay was so badass. Like, I love
Okay.
Shay and Hector. Hector is just
Hector might be my favorite to do, and I love like the grizzled old like sea
I love
captain
Hector.
kind of vibe.
when he was talking about the sharks, the space sharks, that was my favorite.
Sharks.
Space
So
sharks.
Yeah, made that shit up. Actually, the space sharks were another one of the encounters that I knew we weren't gonna get to.
That would have been wild.
I planted that seed early so that, like, in case we ever got it to space sharks, and then I realized we weren't really going to, so I made them all hallucinogens.
I liked that.
I loved our mallard
Yes.
surgeon.
Mallard.
Or Bill Roth.
Bill Roth, mallard
Yeah.
surgeon.
Hey, that's all Sumkey right there.
I loved that character because I love an NPC that you actively want to avoid, but you can't. Like, I love NPCs that you're like, this guy is just going to ruin my day and everything, but you have no choice and you know you got to interact with him. I loved him so much. He killed me every time.
You know,
Well, I also love that he like once we got fish sticks aboard, or sorry, Ambassador Ebley.
Ebley.
Ambassador Ebley.
Once we got him on board, and it was like, oh, okay, you're obnoxious, and then we got the mallard surgeon, and I'm like, oh,
you're worse.
you are tame compared to this duck. What the
So-
duck? I mean, come
He's
on.
a quack.
it's actually interesting because I wasn't sure how the first session was going to go, or sorry, the second session with the attack on the cave. And so I wasn't honestly sure if you guys were going to save Ebley or not. There were a few other like opportunities to save other people as well that could have joined your crew. So I didn't know what the crew dynamic was going to be. And to be honest, I expected more crew members than were there. So in the beginning, it was just Ebley, Hector, and Dresden. Hector and Dresden were always going to be there, but then Ebley was the only other one, and I was like,
We grabbed him
whoa,
against
this
the sky.
this is cool. It's very like bare bones, and but then Sumkey basically gave you more.
Give us help.
So hard.
That was something I was wondering about, like, after, like, a few sessions after we had escaped the cave and everything, like, just post-game, I was thinking about it, and I was like, I wonder if we were supposed to save more people at that time, because I was like, this is a very small crew, and I was like,
Yeah, and-
not were we supposed to, but
Yeah.
I'm like, could we have saved more people and actually had more help?
You
No, I
saved
was
them
like-
in the end. But
Most of them.
most of them. I don't want this to come off like you were supposed to do
Oh,
anything, by the
no.
way. Like,
No,
that's not
no.
what I was trying to say.
We let people die. Oh God.
Yeah. We suck. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, we're heroes. We got statues.
Can I
It's
also
only in a
throw it out
dream.
there?
Oh.
One-eyed Jack the pigeon with the eye patch. Little
Oh,
shout
yeah.
out.
Yes!
You
Oh
got
my
his
god,
shit
Kira
right.
Pigeons were
smashed the
punched.
shit out of that pink pigeon.
So good.
I was mad at him.
The pigeon
Don't like
and the
being
rats.
laughed at.
What were the
that's
rats'
good.
names again? It was something
Uh,
Bitten George, Bitten Gorge, Bitten
Bitten
Gorge.
Gorge, that was
Gorge.
it. And I love the ghosts and like just he's like swimming in the air like
That
there's a
is
ghost.
so
Like,
Yeah, honestly,
just the visual of
that little off encounter
I love
became some
that.
of the most crazy hijinks. It was so
Yeah.
fun.
That was the best.
That's when
It's
tennis
so
got to do
good.
his tornado.
The tennis and
Yes,
tornado
tornado.
came from that moment that
I
Rebecca
love
actually did a quick sketch of that
Oh,
I
yeah.
still am absolutely
Oh, that's
obsessed
right.
with.
That's right. Yeah, no. In my free time, hopefully, as time goes on, I'm gonna do more of that because I have a lot of little sketches. But
I will
Of just
commission
awesome
you.
stuff.
I will commission you for Tennyson with the jackalope antlers coming
Oh
out
my
of his
God,
goggles.
yes.
Nice.
I want
my
that
God.
image
Oh
so
my
bad.
god.
When you do
yes.
let us know so we can share it on the
Oh hell yeah.
page.
Oh hell yeah.
Marius Shelley.
Thank you.
Marius
Oh,
Shelley.
Good.
Thank you for
Marius Shelley was. I don't even think I planned on that. I think it's just you I don't even know what came out of me. It was kind of like Master Roshi mixed with Yoda.
Yeah. And it worked.
Literally those two things, and yeah.
He was definitely one of those characters that when we did the epilogue, I was like, I forgot about him. I forgot how fun he is.
So tender, yeah.
And Patso. I like
And
Patso.
So
The kind
So
man.
those are characters that, you know, hopefully we can, if we do more in the future, you know, more iterations of Zoa in different ways and whatnot, hopefully, you know, those characters can, you know, come back. Because, I mean, I think it's pretty clear that there's still an imminent threat to your lives.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah,
How much
please,
is it- how much
let's
is a
go.
rotation?
Yeah. Let's
Like-
talk about it. Talk about it. What are your theories?
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. If you
Spoilers,
haven't
yeah.
seen the last episode, go watch it on YouTube.
I know
Or it might
because
still
the
be here.
tapestry showed us dead. So is that a prophecy? Did we beat it? I don't know.
Yeah, and it's just like I just like he's like we killed him. We're like great, and he's like you're still gonna die, and I was like what? Like, and then we ended the game, and I'm like wait what? Wait, how long do
No.
we have?
I don't know.
Yeah, he said you
Is that a
have one
plot hook for the
revolution.
future, Preston?
Yeah, it actually is. I really had considered. So, okay, to be completely 100% honest with you, there was going to be a quote-unquote cure, a way for you to rid yourself of the Menagerum at the Menagerum homeworld. But it was actually around the time that Chomper was going to sacrifice himself to Kalzanef that I had started having the thought. It was like that week that I started thinking, as I was kind of thinking about like preparing for the finale and like really what the homeworld's gonna look like and all the things you would have to go do, and I decided in that moment that I was like, you guys just bonded yourselves to these relics. I don't think you've played with them long enough. And I was like, I want to see more of where that goes. And so that week I actually rewrote kind of some stuff, and a lot of that stuff has just, is still yet to be explored. So yeah, I did some mid-season rewrites that I'm very happy with. So, and I think that's how, I don't know, I'm a big believer of that's how you have to DM and to write and anything. I mean, like, you know, I had like, you know, a bone structure laid out of how this season would go, but every time you guys would go fill it in with more and more, like, you know, muscle or whatever we want to go with this analogy, you know, it kind of influenced how I, you know, wanted kind of to reshape the rest of the body, if you will. So, and I think that's it, right? I mean, you got a yes and so you gotta take what you're given, and you guys were giving me lots of awesome things that I was just like, no. I mean, so when you all bonded there and you had this connection and you were brought together and you know, felt like parts of one whole, I didn't want that to end right away. So that is definitely something to be explored. Yeah.
All right.
Now for the real truth bomb. Okay, Chomper, when did he fall in love with Kira? I gotta know.
Okay, so
Because I didn't realize that. Like,
What?
I did
Really?
not know.
What?
I think, point of order, I'm pretty sure it was written on the map, like on our
No, it wasn't.
character
It
map.
Yes,
He
it
liked
was.
Skipper. No, he liked Skipper.
Oh,
Originally it was Skipper.
That's
Oh,
right.
Originally it was Skipper,
Right.
yes. Skipper for the first 2 years at university. He liked. It was when Kira started being his tutor
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
that it was Flip constantly in his ear talking about how great Kira is.
Oh, Flip.
That
You
actually
matchmaker.
and but the problem was like he was always going to be on the outside of that situation because he was really good friends with Max, and he would never do anything to hurt Max.
Oh,
Once Max disappeared
this story.
and he didn't know if that was going to be, if we were ever going to find everyone on Zoa, he found that he was falling for her more, but was
Yeah.
fighting that urge. And then, you know, you people started throwing Cassandra at me, and I'm like, no.
She's like 20 years older than you.
Yeah, no, he's much older.
Because I hardcore, like, did not realize. I'm not even kidding. I didn't realize it. And in my head, I was like, aw, if Max is dead, that's awful. I was like, I feel like Kira would go on a date with Chomper. And I was like, that's weird. Chomper doesn't like Kira. He likes Skipper. Hilarious. But also, yeah. So when you said that, I was like, wait a minute. What? And it just threw me for a loop. I was like, Brad. It was so
honestly
Wow.
one of the reasons why Chomper distrusted Shay so much.
really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it reminded him of the Max situation, and like I said, although Max was his friend, I think his feelings for Kira outweighed his friendship with Max.
Oh no.
And then we got
Spicy.
Max back, and it was like, this is great. Oh, sad day.
Oh
Maybe it'll be like How I Met
Drama.
Your Mother, and 20 years later, Max will die
no!
peacefully.
I'm so
Chopper will show up underneath Kira's window with a blue horn bill or something.
Unless Skipper gets there first, right?
That's true.
I love that, like, throughout the whole thing, just the running joke of this is actually a harem TV show, and everyone's falling in love with Kira. Kira
And
is
Yep.
the unwilling lead of this harem anime.
Yeah, and
He's just like,
and
what?
she's
Who has a
oblivious
crush on
to it all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he's
have no
completely
idea.
missing
Totally
all
oblivious.
of it.
I
will
thought
also
we were
say-
just studying.
No, Chopper was smart. That's the problem. He didn't really need a tutor. He just liked being with you.
Wondering.
That's so
Oh,
cute.
That's true.
That's so cute.
The layers just keep unfolding here, folks.
Right.
Like an
Well, and the
animal
whole
doesn't
reason why
cry.
Flip was pushing him towards Kira is Flip had a crush on Skipper.
Okay, well, let's not give it all away because we might
What?
continue this story.
They might come back.
Oh no, it will be totally unrequited because no one can understand Flip. Yes, exactly. Yeah. You and Flip and Kira and Max. Yeah, you guys can go on a double date.
That is
I'll drive you
much.
there and it'll be fun.
Oh.
Wheel. All right.
Is that Fred?
Did anybody else have any questions you wanted to ask?
I do actually.
Yeah.
Of the characters that we have, which character would you prefer to play if you could choose?
Ooh.
You're saying
of the five
of the
slash
five
six of us.
of the 5 player characters.
Is this for
Yes.
Justin?
No,
Just for any of us.
for any of us.
If you does it?
If we
can
weren't
You could be
choose
someone else.
yourself?
Yeah.
Of the 5, yeah, you cannot choose yourself.
Okay. See, there we go. There we go.
And Justin, you can choose
Oh,
any of
this
them.
is hard.
I really love them. I love all of them.
In real life, if I was an animal suddenly, who would I want to be?
Yes.
Okay.
Or we smoked some of that gas that we flew through, and we all changed into the other people.
Oh my god.
Yeah, right.
That would be a
That
fun
would have been
episode.
great.
I don't know. I kind of adore Skipper. Like, I just love her.
Mhm.
She's just so, I don't know. I love her. I've loved Skipper from the very first moment you started playing her, Emma. I was like, this is my girl right there.
Aw, thank you. See, mine's a toss-up between Kira and Tennyson. And I think maybe it's because I haven't gotten to play with Darrington or Annie before, but I was so delighted by getting to meet your characters and see you role play. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was so I think, and I love them both in very different ways, but I think it'd be really fun to play Kira or Tennyson, specifically Tennyson, because of all the setup with his arc and his growth and like being kind of shy and a little standoffish and getting to like grow into that. I'm not very smart when it comes to math and stuff though, so I was like, I don't want to be an Arcana technician. Yeah. Fine stuff.
I think I would also like, mine was also a toss-up between Kira and Tennyson. I think I also would say Tennyson though, because like I was so intrigued when the mechanics were introduced of, and I realized, I was like, holy shit, Darrington can make whatever the fuck he wants just as long as he has enough parts and time and he gives like a pop point or two. I was just like, the unlimited capabilities that could come with that. Like, I was just like, oh, that sounds fun. And so, I was just, and like the two Kenai that you had and everything, I was just like,
oh my god,
such a fun character. Like,
so
play
cool.
him.
Yeah.
The first time you did your tornado of bullets down, or oh my
that was so
god.
cool.
Yes,
That was
and
so
flying.
fun.
I was like, oh, that's a great
Flying.
skill
Only
to
flying,
have.
well, 2 flying animals on the team between Tennyson and Flip. Like,
Mhm.
it offered a little bit of variety. I think this is so hard for me to pick because I truly love all of the characters and they each had an element that Tennyson didn't. And so it would have been fun to explore Skipper's impulsivity or, Chomper's desire to always, Tennyson was never the person who's like, I'm going to stand in front of you. And so it would have been really cool to play that. But I think final answer, I would have gone with Milo. First of all, I love the juxtaposition of this like fierce, highly trained warrior who is this big. I'm obsessed with that. And then just the arc that was going on there of like what it means to be a leader and how to lead a team fresh and everything that was going on within his personal life. I think that would have been, I enjoyed watching it and I think I would have been enjoyed getting a chance to play it too.
Yeah. Bradley, what about you?
It's tossed up between actually Milo and Skipper.
Mm-hmm.
The brashness of both of them are brash, but in very different ways. One is impulsive, one is kind of conductive to the impulsivity of the other. So yeah, both of those characters are, well, I mean, honestly, any of the 5 of you created such indelible characters that it just blew me away. Well, sorry, 4 of you. Justin, you created all of those characters that blew me away. And I also want to say thank you for allowing me to have Flip. I know that was like, because I was like, and I have this character, and he was like, what? No. And I'm like, but I'm gonna do it. So okay.
I was resistant at first, so my answer to this question actually, after, I mean, as much as I would love to play any of these characters, my answer is Chomper though, because
I love Chomper.
Specifically because of Flip, because I would love to have just there's so much creativity, comedic opportunity to have conversations with yourself essentially as a performer. You're playing
You hated it when you had to talk to yourself, Justin.
That was funny.
I do when I have to have full scenes. What if I was like me talking and then the other person just had to say flip, flip, flip? Then it'd be great. Yeah, good question.
Yeah.
I have another one. If nobody else,
Okay.
This one came up actually in talking about the future of Zoa, what comes next. Now, to be fair, I don't have those answers yet. I have some writing that we can that could go somewhere, but it wouldn't be for a while anyway. But just thinking about the fact that if if we inevitably continue with these characters, you are Zoa bound. You're grounded, right? And with that in mind,
we're not that grounded. Come on.
What'd you say?
I said we're gods. We're not that grounded. Come on.
Okay.
We are gods.
You have fire. You have metal wings. Sure. But yeah, space travel is really not going to be an option for you. What? My question is, we did those get to know a Zoa segments early on and talking about the different realms of Zoa. What realm are you most interested in exploring more of? We as an audience and whatnot have not really seen much of really much at all of Zoa. We've talked about it a lot, but whatever this next iteration is, it will likely explore more of what Zoa is. So I'm just curious, is there anything and it's okay if you don't remember the names, you can just kind of talk about the region or whatever. Darrington.
I know where to start, and maybe this is a boring answer because this is where Tennyson is from.
Yeah.
But Ishkapez very literally has there's something corrupt going on in the government. It's written in the description of the realm of that territory, and I would love to explore more of that. And maybe it's something that we see in Zoa Grounded whenever that comes, but it was something that even Tennyson had to sort of reckon with, because I can't remember the exact words, but essentially the equivalent of the ruler or the governor, the chancellor of that realm is elected, but always runs unopposed. Mm-hmm. And it's best friends with all of the other wealthy people that make that area wealthy. Mm-hmm. And a little bit of that toxicity Tennyson saw in his father, and how nothing seemed quite right, how people could suddenly disappear, and how there was this whole other area within Ishkapez or below Ishkapez that was relegated to the poor, and nothing was functional down there, and yet there was the height of luxury up here. There's a really interesting social commentary, I think, going on in Ishkapez that I would love to see more about.
I love it. Yeah, absolutely. I knew you were going to say that too. That's great. That's great.
Skipper wants to go everywhere, but
no doubt.
Specifically in Dodencrest, if I'm saying that right.
Yeah, Dodencrest.
Under places of interest, there are 2 locations that sound really cool. I'm just going to read right from what Justin gave us.
Go ahead.
There's Jornice Castle.
Yorinice, yeah.
Yorinice Castle. The ruins of a once great castle can be seen on Stormwind Mountain, but the journey to get there would be much too dangerous to visit up close. ...
Oh,
that's right up Skipper's alley.
Exactly.
And sounds like a challenge.
Also, in that same list, right underneath that is literally Edge of the World. The northern border of Dodencrest is a mountain range appropriately known as the Edge of the World. It separates the 6 realms from the truly unknown wasteland beyond. Few have felt the need to journey beyond the edge. Those who have yet to return.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Ooh,
awesome.
the mystery there. Yeah, no, I was the same. I wanted Dodencrest so hard because I was just it's harsh environment, and it's lawless. It is it is literally lawless, and the UR is just no other realm is permitted to interfere there. I'm just what weird Wild West, but in the snow kind of vibe that is. And I was
Absolutely.
and it's run by crooks and all this stuff. I was just ooh, so much intrigue and mystery and just crime. And I was just oh, I want to go there so bad. It's so cool.
The one with the polar bears?
Yeah, the polar bear family.
Okay.
That's
my choice too.
Oh,
we all just really want to go to Dodencrest, man.
All right, well, good. I'll take a note.
Get on it, Justin.
If Skipper's going there, Kira's following after so you don't get into trouble. So
Yeah,
let's be honest.
Yeah.
Aww.
That's not to say that I won't say anything.
He's excited.
I am excited. I'm going to start writing tonight.
Who else is going to go there other than those of us who have the relics inside of us, right? Right? We've got an advantage.
It's the best I feel
And at
about
least
going
one
there.
of us can't die.
And I'm the one that's not going.
No, Chopper. We'll bring you when you're a baby, and then that way you can't stop us.
We'll just push
Yeah,
him
you
off a
just kill
cliff
me
and then
to-
take him
to
as a
make me
baby.
small. Exactly.
Okay, but actually, is he just gonna do that forever now? I mean, as long as the
That's a
relic's
great
in him,
question.
maybe we don't know!
Yeah,
I
I did
don't
have a
know.
question about that. I was like, okay, so he's baby, and like every like hour was the mechanic, I think, or so. Like he would age up by like milestones, and I was like, great, he hit the age where he was supposed to be. But I was like, is it just gonna keep going, and then he burns out and then starts all over again? Like I was like, wait, how nightmare fuelish
so
is this actually?
You'll to not answer the question, but to give you more information about that. In those 2 weeks that you go back to Zoa, you spend 2 weeks and whatnot. Chomper has stayed the same age, basically. I mean, not stayed the same age, but I mean he's aged normally. So it seems like maybe
it
it brought him back to
takes you
where
to-
he was. Yeah.
Your last save point, got it.
Yeah, exactly. Bradley, what about you? What realm are you most interested
It's a toss-up between Dust Valley, actually,
in?
because there's not a lot of information about it. It's blue collar. It's where the meteorite landed and all that wonderful stuff. But it's also not a recognized realm. So to me, that seems like if people are working there, it's like Pennsylvania is still a state. And that's, filled with like coal and shit like that. So I'm like, shouldn't this be a recognized area? Shouldn't, kind of standing up and protecting the people? I feel like that would be
That's a very
a thing to
Chomper
go to
thing.
the-
yeah.
yeah.
Well, especially
Especially
because
after the
yeah.
refugee stuff, because I think that, honestly, that's one of the places that we're actually putting refugees. We're moving them to the Dust Valley
Could be.
so that they can have gainful employment, unless especially like the more weirder ones. I've thought a lot about this in like the past few days. I'm like,
I can tell.
because
Yeah.
because you were like there were aliens, and as kind of, I hate to
There were-
say it, but xenomorphic as or xenophobic as some of the land dwelling animals were towards water, I can only assume
Ooh, good
that
point.
aliens would
Yeah.
be even more so. So keeping them safe in a place that maybe isn't corrupt like Escapez or or not Midwesty like whatchamacallit.
Yeah.
Floridan?
Floridan, yeah. Which I always thought was going to be the crazy one because it sounds like Florida.
I know, right? I was
know.
like, Florida.
I thought about. I almost changed it once, and then I was like, nah, leave it.
Keep it.
I like it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Amazing. Well, hey, anything else anybody wants to ask or discuss before we kind of wrap up here?
This is a
It's
dumb
okay if
one.
not. I just wanted to give an opportunity. So,
I got a dumb one here.
okay, sure.
So, because we were talking about it all the time with Zoa because of how awesome it is and like how great the title card looks and everything, it looks like it should be a cartoon. So, if it was in a cartoon,
Oh, yes,
what
please.
celebrity would voice your character?
Oh, that's a
Whoa,
sick question.
that's a good question.
Yes.
I'm just gonna take Ryan Reynolds right now just because I watched a movie with him in it last
Ah,
night.
oh, that's so good.
Ryan Reynolds is one of those celebrities that doesn't change his voice no matter what he's in.
No.
Yeah.
He plays the same character. He's always like some shade of Deadpool, and it works. So,
Gosh, that's hard.
Less because of his performance in Spider-Man and more because of his performance in Onward. I would love Tom Holland to voice Punisher.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
I think that would be so cute.
That's great.
Oh gosh.
Can I cast? I don't want to take it away if somebody else is gonna do it. Never mind.
Go for it. They're taking their time.
Do it.
You
'cause
snooze, you
I-
lose.
I
Do
can't
it.
think.
I want to cast Idris Elba as Hector, please.
Oh
Yes.
Oh, Okay, so you took mine.
That's what
so-
I knew you. I knew it.
I knew
And that's
it.
why I wasn't gonna say it. And then you guys.
No,
stole
I'm
it.
happy
You know
about
what,
it. I'm
Justin?
happy about it.
You got him back for all those times he snatched your
Yeah,
weave off right
I
at the
did,
last minute.
Same wavelength.
Flip. Also, Bill Hader would have been flipped. So
Yeah, but
Kira needs somebody with like a kind voice, but maybe a little raspy. And I think Emma Stone is too goofy,
Mhm.
maybe a little bit, but something in that same. That's what I'm
Mhm.
feeling in that same vicinity, and I can't think of anybody.
Like Jennifer Lawrence.
raspy.
Maybe a Jennifer Lawrence, but like, is that too harsh? I don't know. She's kind of a.
Mm.
She's got that kind of tough girl.
Yeah,
energy.
yeah. I think Kira's.
Jennifer
It's
Lopez.
hard.
Jennifer Lopez.
Jennifer Lopez. That just makes me think of Selena.
Go ahead. Sorry, no, you go ahead.
Go. No, go.
I think I would cast Maisie Williams as Skipper, who played Arya Stark.
Yes.
Oh,
That's a good.
I
that's
love
good.
That's a good pick.
That's a great
That's great.
idea.
She
I
did a
love
good job.
that so much.
Since you chose Big Driz for Hector, I would go with Hugh Jackman.
Ooh,
Oh
nice.
my god.
Nice.
That
Hugh
would be
Jackman. Maybe
nice.
I can see Zendaya as Kira.
Ooh,
Ooh,
I
yeah.
love
Hell
that
yeah.
for her.
That's a great idea. I love that
Mhm.
so much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some key said Taylor Swift has already played a feline.
Oh my god.
Oh,
We
No.
do not talk
Just
about
get
that.
the cast of
No, we
cats.
We really can't talk about
Oh,
that. Idris was
God.
also in that.
Yes, he
Yes,
was.
He
There we
was.
go.
The one time that I was like, wow, I am not
No,
attracted to this
what a
man.
miss.
Yeah.
I was like, I
Is
think
he
that's my
naked
biggest-
or is he not naked?
Right.
Why take the whole coat?
My biggest gripe with that was I was just like, how dare you make
And
Idris Elba not sexy?
that
Like,
means Jason
that's a
Derulo
trick.
is Max. So that's what's happening there.
Uh,
No.
It's a no
Oh,
for me.
no.
dog.
It's a no for me, dog. No, Max would have to be what's his
Zac
name?
Efron.
Zac Efron is the person I thought of.
Oh,
my
really?
gosh.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
guess I can see that. I was thinking
Oh, I didn't even think of Zac Efron from.
I guess I've always pictured Max Never mind.
No,
No, tell me. I want to know.
I've always pictured Max as Hispanic for some reason. Max and Shay and like that whole family. I think
Oh,
something
yeah.
about
Oh,
the
yeah.
wolves make me think of like I don't know why. But I was
Yeah.
thinking of what's the guy's name from Game of Thrones and Kingsman, and he's gonna be in the new
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro
Pedro
Pascal.
Pascal?
Yeah, that's what I was
Oh,
Pedro.
yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He's got a good voice.
That could 100%.
Hell yeah.
I would love-
Yeah,
Yes.
I could see that.
I want
Cute.
Mallard
Mm.
Surgeon to be played by Seth Rogen.
That's great.
And John Oliver be
Embley.
Ambassador Embley.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Oh my gosh.
You need like Nathan Lane in there somewhere.
Yeah,
You
that's right,
need,
Nathan.
like a Billy
You
Crystal.
can voice one of the rats.
Nathan Lane can be Marius Shelley.
Oh yes.
I love you, Chomper.
Yeah. Please, that's so good.
Oh, that's awesome. What would
Okay.
Cassandra be? Because I'm trying to. as much as I hate her, I need
Cassandra.
a voice.
Sandra. Oh, she would have to be played by what's her
It's
name?
like Carrie Coon or something. What were you thinking?
Who did we say was? I equated her to somebody. Who was in Bridesmaids and
Is it
Rose
the-
Byrne?
Melissa.
Melissa McCarthy?
Melissa
Melissa
McCarthy.
McCarthy.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because
Oh, yeah.
she gave
No,
those hard
I would
Melissa
hate her
McCarthy
even more.
vibes.
That would be very out of character for Melissa. Like, Cassandra's not funny. I don't
No,
think.
she's funny in that she's
I think
not
She tried
funny.
to be.
She was
Kept on saying
hilarious.
funny things.
I guess.
Bradley has a lot of feelings right now.
I hate this character. Sorry.
You brought her up, man.
Well, I mean, it is weird because it transcended just Chomper. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no, get off my ship.
It was
Why?
hilarious to watch.
Hilarious. We
That
kept
was-
pushing
that was-
it.
That was
Oh,
one of my favorite interactions. Was just those two and watching
And then
dynamic.
I want Channing Tatum for Sergeant Goodboy.
Aw.
Sergeant
Rest in
Good
peace,
Boy.
Sergeant Goodboy.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Dang
He
it.
was a good boy.
Could we have
Good
saved
boy.
him?
Um, it's not one of those. I mean, it's not one of those that like you missed completely or anything like that. It was like you did the encounter. It just didn't go your way. That's all. If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Mhm.
So I mean, yes, technically you
I
could have saved
could've.
him, but it was
Like Schindler's List,
pretty-
2 more people. I could have saved 2 more people.
yeah.
Oh
it-
no.
Aw.
you
That's how I feel.
you probably, I mean, at least one of you probably would have died saving him. So I think
I
mean,
know.
it would have,
Ooh. Ugh.
I know.
you know.
Yeah, in the cave though, there were so many times like after we played the game, I had so many moments flash in my head where I was like, I should have gone and done another thing. I should have done something else. Like I was just like, I feel like I missed something.
Well,
And,
that's, I mean, and that was also the nature of it, though, right? Because like your
Right, yeah,
characters,
no.
your characters would have felt the same way. And
Mhm.
I was kind of throwing a lot at you guys, and you know, it was very dire situation. So, fantastic. Well, in wrapping up this wrap up, let me just say, first of all, thank you all again for going on this adventure with me, and thank you to those of you in the chat right now who were with us, whether it was just for one episode or for all of it, or however little or much you could put in. We appreciate it. Every extra crew member, if you will, really made it that much more special. So thank you. Like we've been talking about, I am like 90% sure we'll be able to continue this in some fashion. Zoa Stardust will no longer be, but maybe Zoa, as Darrington said earlier, maybe Zoa Grounded or something like that.
I like that title.
Yeah.
Love that so much.
That's fantastic. But that won't be for a while. So in the meantime, I really encourage anyone watching to check out our other shows that we have going on. There's a plethora, there's a little library of them on YouTube right now that I've completed and that are full series and whatnot on our Ghostlight RPGs YouTube page. And I, along with Annie and Darrington, are going to be starting a new adventure this Friday. So September 10th, Friday at 7:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. We are going to be kicking off a new mini campaign. It won't be nearly as big or as long as this Zoa Stardust was, but it will be a wild new world with some crazy new characters. We're going to be playing D&D 5e, and it is going to be called Tales of the Public Domain. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that for right now. But I really hope that you'll come join us for the first session of that, where things really are gonna kick off fast. Again, that's just a couple days away. Friday, September 10th, 7:30 p.m. And yeah, keep an eye out for other things coming from us in the future. We got some more one-shots coming up. I don't remember the dates of a few of them, but there's one I know Emma will be doing eventually.
I think it's September 19th,
19th?
and I believe Rebecca and Bradley will be in that one.
The other three. Look at that. We got three.
Yeah. Involved.
We're all still playing together.
So that's just like 2 weeks away, yeah? September 19th. Fantastic. Anyway, I've been talking long enough. So thank you all for joining us tonight. Thank you for watching. And if you haven't already, give us a follow so you don't miss any new content we come out with. But yeah, we'll see you Friday night. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Flip, 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 flip.